everything's great. And then I wanted to go on a vacation.
Mm.
And I started telling my customers, hey, I'm going to be gone. And they're like, wait, what happens? I'm like, don't worry about it. I have employees. We have a team. It's going to be all right. And they're like, no, if something goes wrong, we need you. You can't go. And it just hit me. I was like, what did I do? How did I build myself this mess where I can't even take a vacation? I can't take care of my family. I can't give them the time they need. I thought I was building something great. It turned out I was building a cage.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme. Today, we get a chance to have a really great, inspiring chat with Jason McKenzie. You guys, he is an author, a speaker, and a small business owner, and he is passionate about helping other small business owners. And oh my goodness, Jason, I am so excited. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait.
All right. So, Jason, why don't you give us a little insight on what lights you up? Like, who do you love to help and how are you making a difference in the world?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love helping small business owners. The backbone of America, and really, I think of the world, is small business owners. That idea of I'm going to start something, I'm going to build something, I'm going to take care of my family, the community, and I'm going to make the world a better place. That drives so many people. And yet, if they have better tools, better ways of thinking, better ways of acting, they can be so much more effective and make a bigger impact in their communities.
Yes. Oh my gosh, totally. And you and I were chatting, before we started recording about some of the kind of like real life everyday things that small business owners have to deal with. And I know that was kind of your own experience as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what led you to go into this line of work?
Oh, for sure. I'd love to. So, I've always been interested in business since I was a little kid. And it all started really when I was before even kindergarten. I walked into the store and saw an aisle of candy, and I wondered how much money would it take to buy all the candy? And that just became this thing that I'd think about. And I was like, how do I make money? And I wanted to be a basketball star. And my dad's like, well, maybe think about business. And I was like, well, okay. And so when I realized I couldn't jump like Muggsy Bogues, I went in, started really focusing on that business aspect of life and started to build businesses and systems. And I at one point built a web design agency and thought that I was really successful. I could literally go to my computer and it was like I was printing money. I just work and money's just flying, everything's great. And then I wanted to go on a vacation.
Hmm.
And I started telling my customers, hey, I'm going to be gone. And they're like, wait, what happens? I'm like, don't worry about it. I have employees. We have a team. It's going to be all right. And they're like, no, if something goes wrong, we need you. You can't go. And it just hit me. I was like, what did I do? How did I build myself this mess where I can't even take a vacation? I can't take care of my family. I can't give them the time they need. I thought I was building something great. It turned out I was building a cage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of the things, right? Is that we go into business with the intention of making an impact. I think most of the people that I work with anyway just want to make an impact, but we also dream of that flexibility of having the time and the financial freedom to do what we have always wanted to do, to be able to say yes to more things, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was really what led me to my journey of recognizing that there was something that I knew inside of me that needed to come out. There was a bigger calling on my life than what I was doing in the operating room as a nurse anesthetist. But I also felt, I mean, this is be real, like I was in the cage of the shifts and not knowing when I was going to get to go home that day. And in anesthesia, like nobody can leave the operating room or leave the patient unless somebody else comes in and gets you out. And so like I literally felt like I was in this tiny little bubble in my operating room. And when I went into business for myself, you think you're leaving your 9 to 5, but you're really trading it for 24/7 sometimes.
100%. My brother used to make fun of me all the time. He's like, You know, a small business owner gets to pick which 80 hours a week they're working.
And I mean, I think that that's a lot of the thing that holds people back from either starting a business or maybe burns people out and they give up or they quit. Or kids watch their parents hustling for 40, 50 years and they're like, I
Yeah.
don't want any part of that family business. That legacy just dies with them. And so I'm guessing that you've been there. So now you've been on this journey of figuring out how do you break free from that cage. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I took the vacation. I was like, I don't care if the business burns down. It doesn't matter. I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I went and I
Mhm.
spent that whole week that I was gone thinking about what I did wrong. How did I get here? I'm around these other people, and some of them are running 8-figure businesses. And I'm looking at them, how are they doing this? They have no stress. They're just sitting there enjoying life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did I do wrong? And the thing that popped into my head while you were talking
Mhm.
about being in the emergency room or in the surgery room was the truth will set you free. And that was my journey. Was I had built something because of the perception I had and the thoughts I had in my past experiences.
Mhm.
They taught me all these things that I thought was reality.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was only real in my
The
head.
cage of our beliefs, right?
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, I had to go and I had to start breaking that cage piece by piece. This belief isn't real. Break it. Okay, that's painful. That's going to take some time to fix. Okay, how do I think differently about this? How do I change? And it took a long time, but
Yeah.
it's possible. And that's what's so amazing is it is possible. Anyone can go out and grab the truth. You can always change. You don't have just because you spent 20 years doing the same thing doesn't mean you have to do the next 20 years.
100%. And I think that, Jason, do you think that to be fair to people, like I don't think neither one of us are giving you guys this false perception of growing a business isn't you don't just get it handed to you sometimes. You don't just sit on your couch and expect clients to just come in. Like there's sacrifice and there's exchanges and there's things that we have to do to be successful. I think that we get to decide though on how long we're going to stay in that hamster wheel. I think we get to decide on are the cages that we put ourselves in even real, right? Or are they self-imposed? This morning,
Yeah.
literally this morning, and I before I even looked at my notes to remind myself what we were going to be talking about, I sat in my hot tub with my coffee and my custom music that was designed for me and my emotions, and I sat there and I just took it all in. It's like my
Mm.
old days, my old version of me used to get up at 4 in the morning. I would get my morning routine in just so that I could set myself up, and then I'd
Yeah.
head to the operating room and I'd work on my coffee breaks, I'd work on my lunch, I'd miss time with my family at the end of the day. And what I recognize though is that yes, there are some things that are required to build a business. I'm not denying that, but I also recognize that there were cages that I had put myself in that space. I felt like my busy badge was my badge of honor and my identity.
Right.
I'm just a hard worker and money doesn't grow on trees, and I'm a doer. I have discipline, blah blah blah. Like that was like my like claim to fame, but yet I wanted peace. So you can't have both, right? I also recognized that I didn't think that I was worthy of slowing down, or feared that if I slowed down a little bit, then my business would slow down also. And so those are beliefs that I had to break through. And so once I was able to do that, here I am, like sitting in my hot tub this morning. I sent the kids and my husband off to school, and I got a chance to just like watch the sun come up and do it slowly and beautifully. And my business is still moving and successful. It can happen. We just have to allow ourselves to recognize some of those cages that we put ourselves in.
Absolutely. And it's like normal life. I was on a flight just the other day, and the law of gravity, it didn't all of a sudden disappear so that the airplane could take off. But they figured out a way to say, okay, we know gravity's a real thing and
Mhm.
it's going to hold us against the earth as much as it can. So what do we have to do differently so that an airplane can take off? Same thing in business. I have a good friend, he's been a business coach, he's been my coach, and he says for small business owners, your business will almost never outgrow you. So
Right.
you have to grow,
Yes.
shift, adapt, and
Yes.
change if you want the business to.
100%. We are our own ceilings for sure. And
Yeah.
so Jason, what have you found in your own experience, the people that you've helped, are some of the key shifts that you feel would really make a difference to get somebody out of that 24/7 hustle, the belief that we have to be everything for everybody, and allow ourselves to actually be able to experience impact and income without having to trade our soul for it?
There's so many directions we could go with that, but there's a couple that are at the top of my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
The first one I want to reinforce, we've already said it a few times, but the first one is you as an individual have a bunch of fake ideas in your head,
Mhm,
and oftentimes they're the ones that you believe very strong because they were reinforced over and over in your past. So the first thing is to recognize maybe we don't know as much as we think we do. And maybe the things we think are solid and have to be this way don't. That's the first. The second is if you have some things that are painful to you, I would say maybe make a list. List out the things that are painful and then go find somebody who doesn't have that pain.
mhm,
Find someone who's an educator, who shares knowledge, who's willing to tell the path they took
mhm,
and go study them. And then the third thing I'd say is every small business owner has a dream of where they want it to be.
mhm,
And oftentimes there's a path to get there, but you don't know what the path is.
mhm.
Taking imperfect action will get you far further than being stuck in just the study mode.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. Okay, there's so much that I love to just have fun conversation around. And the first one is just those recognizing, I call them our butts, our big butts, and I cannot lie, right? Like I would do this, but. And the moment that we can put a
Mm,
crack in that butt and say, but is that true? It releases the power and the hold over that belief that is gospel truth. And our brain starts to say, well, maybe it's not as credible as I thought it was. And so that's exactly what you're saying is like, but is this true? Is there a crack
yeah,
that I can put in this, right? And then the second thing that you mentioned, I think is so important that I don't want to gloss over it, is that really the choice that we can either decide to stay victim to our circumstance and complain and blame. And we can blame the economy, we can blame the government, we can blame that business is down, we can blame social media algorithms, we can blame all the things. Or we can choose to be solution oriented and be like, I don't know, I'm going to figure this out. Who do I need to meet? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to learn? What skills do I need to acquire in order for me to be empowered to create a difference instead of staying disempowered and allowing ourselves to stay stuck in that victim cycle of this sucks
yeah,
and allow ourselves to feel sorry for ourselves and then try to get other people who want to buy into that story. Or we can choose to seek out people that are going to be like, hey, I see a solution here, or hey, I'm going to call you out on your BS here, or hey, I'm going to whatever. There's solutions. And that's what you're saying. And then absolutely, like, action must precede confidence, you guys. Like, that's where the momentum starts. Like, confidence
yes,
comes from action. It comes from
yes.
really recognizing, like, huh, look at that, I didn't die. Right?
Right?
Huh. And people oftentimes want everything to be so stinking perfect that we end up over analyzing and changing our social media posts for 4 hours, or
Mm,
creating the perfect Canva graphic for 5 hours and doing all the things instead of just being like, okay, cool, that worked, that did it. Ooh, I liked this. Ooh, I didn't like that. We can't know that until we actually try it.
yeah. And I think that going back to that very specific example where you're talking about going for 4 hours trying to fix it 100 times, oftentimes the reason that we are redoing
Mhm.
whatever it is we're posting, it's telling us something about us. It's
Yeah.
not telling us something about the outside world, and oftentimes it's we don't have confidence in who we are. And the
Yes.
number one fix that I have for social media and people who are scared of it is to go live.
Mhm.
Just go live because you can't pull it back. That's who you are.
Right.
You're
Yes.
imperfect. By design, you're imperfect. None of us are perfect. God didn't make us perfect for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes, that's just it, right? We fear, I mean, I remember being there too, right? Like, I had 200 friends on social media when I started my business. I was afraid to post anything.
Mm, yeah,
So it was like the occasional like inspirational quote from a friend is about all I would do because I was afraid of being seen and judged and rejected.
yeah,
And once I started to put myself out there in the direct line of fears and failures and rejection, I was like, huh, look at this. I'm still alive. I
yeah,
haven't died. I haven't spontaneously get busted. My friends and family still talk to me if they run into me at the grocery store, like, huh, look at this.
yeah. There's a reason why the scriptures say, "Fear not," over and over.
Yeah.
Fear is one of the things that hold us back from
Yes.
spiraling up.
100%. And so tell me a little bit about some of the things that you see, because you and I are so aligned. Like I'm like
Mm.
I just love having a conversation. It's like my brother from another mother over here, of recognizing that there's a misalignment really of what we say we want and who we're being, right? And so like I
Oh,
say
yeah.
I want to go on vacation, but yet I'm afraid to hire help, or I'm afraid to delegate or let go of control. I say I want this, I say I want visibility and more clients, but whenever I get the chance to post, I shrink down and I sabotage my visibility by over perfecting my post over and over again, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're seeing. There's a misalignment between what we say we want and who we're being in order to make that happen.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen the Pixar movie, oh, Inside Out?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. To me, that represents what happens to so many people over and over. We're like, "Oh, I wanna be this thing, I wanna do this thing," and then inside our head, we have all the different characters fighting for control, and we're like, "No, you can't do that. What if this goes wrong? I've gotta protect you. Oh, I'm so mad this never works right," and we get all these emotions and all these fears, and what's amazing is What About Bob is probably one of the greatest movies ever created from a standpoint of transformation and telling the story of how you can change.
Mhm.
Because all that the expert said is, Bob, you got to take baby steps. So if you're not in alignment with what you keep saying you want,
Mhm.
all you have to do is take one teeny step, and maybe it's in the wrong direction. And then you can assess, did that step get me closer? If not, okay, well, I'm going to readjust. And if you only take baby steps, and you mentioned earlier a couple of times hiring people,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be that you replace yourself right out of the gate. In fact, that's the wrong mindset. Instead, you find the smallest, littlest, easiest job that you can delegate to someone else, because you're going to mess it up anyway. They're going to mess it up. You're going to mess it up. It's not going to go right. This is brand new for you. So
Yeah.
just take and do it in baby steps. And when it goes wrong, you can fix it quick. It won't be an expensive mistake. You're going to learn a ton, but then it makes it easier to do bigger and bigger because you took those first steps in a small way. And that also calms those voices inside your head telling you, don't do this. It's scary. It's going to hurt you. It's going to break everything. Because it's so small, you can be like, ah, it'll be okay. $100 mistake. I can afford $100 mistake.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's where I got started. I started out with a VA from the
Mm.
Philippines. She was, inexpensive in terms of I could actually afford to pay her, and she did an amazing job. And I literally just had her do a couple hours a week for me, right? And I figured out what I wanted to delegate, what her was in her wheelhouse, who else I needed to possibly delegate to different things. And I think that I see this a lot where people make something into big, huge, complex tasks rather than just like you said, just the tiniest little next steps. Like people have literally sabotaged their progress by being in paralysis of I don't know how to find somebody. I don't have time to onboard them. I need to create this giant onboarding process that includes Asana and ClickUp and all these things. It's like, no, you don't. And so it's the belief that we have in there that it has to be complicated, and I love that so much. And there's also when it comes to hiring people, because this is a major thing that I see oftentimes is people could get further in their business, they could allow for better work life balance if they could get over their fear of hiring somebody. And I
Mhm.
literally had somebody tell me yesterday, like, oh, LaChelle, like I thank you for so much for your time, I know you're busy. I'm like, I guess I'm busy, but I really honestly don't feel like I am. Like my kids come home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm done. They get my attention. I travel a lot. I have a slow start to my morning. Like I'm busy because I have boundaries and I have amazing team. And so I think that it's the team part that can really hold people back from being able to really get that work life balance back. And the beliefs around can I afford a team member, can I really let go of my control, can I, is it too overwhelming to hire people? Those are the cage pieces that you were mentioning before, the
Right.
buts, the blocks that prevent us from actually taking the action that's going to move the needle a little bit. What else do you see in people?
I want to reflect back on one of the things you just said also, because when people go to hire, they will often hire the biggest, most expensive, And the other misconception is they try to find themselves.
Oh
They're
yeah.
trying to go and hire another one of me. I did
Yeah.
it myself. And what's really funny is you're talking, I'm like, yep, I've been there. Yep, I've been there. One of my businesses, which is absolutely absurd. I can't believe I ever had this thought, but I had a goal of never hiring an employee. I was like, I'm going to run a business without ever, like, how stupid is that? Have you
Right.
ever seen anybody be successful without a team? Even professional golfers, they're all alone, right? No. They've got coaches, they've got someone, they've got a caddy. The
Yeah.
caddy's literally consulting with them on the course. And if you look at a tennis player, they've got fans in all the stands. Look at the golf. Everybody has a team,
Yeah.
but there's only one person out there hitting the racket. There's only one person golfing. When it's a solo sport, which entrepreneurs often feel like it's a solo sport, and they just hope and pray they can find a duplicate of themselves, which will
Yes.
never happen. You're
No.
unique.
Right.
No golfer has another golfer standing beside him. They have a caddy standing beside him. That very specific job, not the
Yes.
same as the golfer. The fans have a job. It's not the same as the golfer.
Mm.
Everybody has their own job, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So don't try and replace yourself, people.
Yeah.
Find somebody that's different than you, because their weaknesses will complement your strengths, and your weaknesses will complement their strengths when you do this right.
100%. One of the tools that I use is the DISC assessment. I love
Mm,
to use tools to help me, and Strength Finders is another one that I use to help me to find my opposites.
yeah.
And like, so my assistant Jamie is a rock star, and she's super organized, very detail oriented. I am a big picture visionary. Like, she comes, I joke that I'm like the Tasmanian devil, and she's coming behind me with a broom, like cleaning up my messes, right? But she keeps me going. She keeps my tasks going through completion because she understands my vision and my mission, and that's where we're aligned.
Yep.
Like, we have buy-in for the same impact we want to make, but the way in which we show up is so vastly different.
Yes. And that's when someone's building a business, this may not entirely apply to just individuals looking to strengthen themselves, but when you're building a business, that's another misconception business owners have that I see over and over. They're like, "Oh, I am the business." "Oh, are you really?" "So when was the last time your business went and sat on the couch and watched TV?"
Yeah.
Never. So you're not your business. But what you have to do is you have to figure out where those distinctions are. What is the business all about? What is the business trying to accomplish? And you just said it. You and your I'm sorry, I forgot her name. You're in
Jamie, yeah,
alignment. You
yeah,
both
yeah,
have the
yeah,
same vision. The business is going to accomplish X, and you're both heading in that same direction. When you can clearly define the soul of the company, why it exists, what its purpose is, who it's supposed to help, how it helps them, how it shows up in the world, these other team members can gather around that and
mhm,
help lift and support the business to accomplish that, so that you're not carrying it in a backpack on your back trying to hike a mountain by yourself.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, like, there's so many things that we could talk about in that space, and I I wanted to bring in the discussion around boundaries quickly, because I think that
Mhm.
this is another big but that I see a lot is, and you kind of talked about it when you're like, I go on vacation, and the buck stops here. Like, I can't go on vacation, right? And
Yeah.
so we don't allow these boundaries to protect our time, and we have this misconception that if we hold them, that everything's going to fall apart. And I see this a lot. So I host these beautiful luxury business retreats overseas twice a year. And the last one we just did was in Greece. And I had two people who came with me that had big businesses that they had never left before.
Oh,
One of them
wow.
was a caterer, and she had several events that week while we were gone that was going to serve over 800 people. And she was like, okay, but it was so beautiful because it's like, yes, the curriculum that I have works, but it's the proving to herself that she is literally in another country
Yeah.
and can allow her team to fill in for her. And it worked out. Everything went fine. They proved to her, she proved to herself. And it was like all of a sudden this cage broke
Mm,
free because
yeah.
she allowed herself to be put in the position where she's like, I can't change my mind. Like, I'm here, and allowing it to show her and prove to herself that you can still hold boundaries and allow for your business to grow. There's another client of mine that is a very successful realtor that has joined me on several of my retreats. And I remember when the first time she went, she had a heck of a time putting her phone away. And
Mm,
by the time that we were done with that very first retreat, she was able to say to somebody, they had messaged her, And she had gone from selling houses that were around the $200,000 mark to now she's selling like $1 million properties and up. And she had somebody inquire about this really expensive, like $1 million property. And she said, I will be back on Tuesday. You can meet with me then. It wasn't a scramble trying to find somebody to fill in for her. She was like, this is where I'm at. And guess what? She has not lost a single client because she is allowed for herself to have boundaries. And one of the things I love about her too is that she has a rule. She doesn't answer her phone she only answers her phone between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. As a realtor, that's, a good boundary to have.
Yep.
And she doesn't answer ever because she doesn't want to teach people that she's available outside of those hours. And allowing herself to believe that she wasn't going to miss out on business. People were not going to run away or whatever if she's holding those boundaries. Do you find that that's a common barrier that a lot of people have?
Absolutely. Small business owners, we often start a business to have that impact. And the way we have that impact is by showing up.
Yeah.
So if we're not showing up, we're now telling ourselves, I'm not going to have an impact because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And so it moves from this vision, this grand vision, to this fear-based vision.
Mm-hmm.
And we move from that land of plenty
Yeah.
to the land of fear. And when we're sitting in the land of fear, we can only see the problem in front of us. And now all of a sudden, all those other things that may have been important, they're not important anymore, because what if I mess this up? Oh no, that affects my identity. It affects who I am. It affects that I didn't accomplish my vision in life. Oh no, this is so terrible. What did I do wrong? And it just compounds inside of our brain. And pretty soon we're making that one thing our obsession instead of our passion.
100%. So what are some of the things that you've seen that have helped people to hold those boundaries and to prove to themselves that they don't have to submit to the fear-based thinking that they've had?
Oh, one of the things I love most is there was a study that I saw the other day, and I think the number's way too low. The study was 30% of entrepreneurs, small business owners, that category of people have either ADD, ADHD, something similar, something in that vein. And I think that number's way too low because I reposted it and everyone's like, yeah, I'm just not diagnosed. That's the real problem.
No, 100%. I've definitely self-diagnosed myself as an entrepreneur.
And so knowing that's how the brain thinks and knowing that's how we're wired, let's play to our strengths. So we may have competing values. I want to have an impact in the world. I want the business to be successful. I want to take time off and enjoy the sunrise. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to spend time with my spouse. I want to watch a movie. The strategy, if you're really battling getting those fences established, that I've seen them work over and over, is to gamify the other things. So we over gamify being successful in business. The other day, my daughter told me she needed shoes. I was like, all right, we got to do this. This is important. And I build it up in my own brain first, how important it is for my daughter to have shoes. If she doesn't get new shoes, she can't wear shoes to school. If she can't wear shoes to school, she's not going to school. She's not going to school. She's going to get kicked out. She'll never. And I built up this whole story. It's totally fake, but it's just a game.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, she needs shoes. Who's coming with me? Let's go. And I made it this whole big event. And all of a sudden, that was my big focus. And that was all I cared about. Nothing else in the world mattered because we were on a quest to find shoes for my daughter. Same thing if you've got to cook a meal. Oh, I don't want to cook. I hate cooking. No one likes my food. What if you gamify it? Oh, I'm going to make the best food. I'm going to convince my family that they love it. How big of a sales job is that? Anybody love sales? Sell your family on whatever you're cooking. That's a game in and of itself. Yeah. And you create that whole event and the family buys into it. And all of a sudden, everybody's moving in the same direction. And the emotions are so much more positive, so much happier. Yeah. You're growing together because you created an environment where that one thing became more important than the thing that keeps crossing that line or crossing your boundaries.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that probably brings us into another big barrier that I see over and over again is just the lack of confidence, the fear of maybe sales or the fear of putting themselves out there, on social media or whatever the case may be. And so I'm guessing that you can use that same concept to gamify the things that are a little bit scary or that you have lack of confidence around. Like talk about what you typically do for those types of things.
Yeah. So I would say I would ask people, what is it you fear? Okay. So sales. Well, I don't want to push it on anybody. Okay, why don't you want to push it on anybody? Well, usually it comes down to a fear of rejection. Why don't you want to be rejected? It affects who I am, my confidence, all those things. Okay, well, let's gamify it. We talked about it earlier. Get that set your paper, write a goal. I'm going to get 20 no's today. I did that at one point in my career where sales was a little difficult for me. And when I got a yes, I got frustrated. I was like, wait, I was looking for my no. Now I'm not going to reach my goal. Dang it. And then I was like, wait a second. That's funny. I literally am more excited to not sell than to sell now. And I'm disappointed when I get a sale. But how can I really be disappointed? I got a sale, right?
Yeah.
And it totally messed with the mind in such a way that my mind became plastic enough to adapt to the new change and the new mindset, the new vision of life.
Yes. And I mean, neuroplasticity is real. Like we can literally reprogram our brain to think different ways. It just takes some practice and time and proving to ourselves that we're not going to die and all the things. So what other, Jason, what other things do you find are contributing to the cage that people have put themselves in as small business owners?
Oh, the environment. The
Oh,
environment is so big. When we sit down in a chair, we've programmed ourselves, whenever we sit in this chair, we're going to act a certain way.
mm,
So what is it? Is that your TV chair? Is that your book chair? Is that your relaxed chair? Is that your stress chair? When we lay down at night, we've programmed ourselves to think a certain way. And when small business owners can't think, can't sleep because the brain just goes zzz and goes crazy at night, you've programmed yourself to start thinking about all the stressful things when you lay down. And so our environment literally is triggers for the way we're supposed to act. I read an article a little while ago and then I put it in practice. I'd always wanted to learn to play the guitar. And this guy said that he wanted to learn to play the guitar. And he said he had a guitar for years,
yeah.
never learned it at all. And he realized every time he sat on the couch, he would instantly grab the remote and turn the TV on. So he took the remote, took the batteries out, put the batteries in another room, took the remote, put it in a drawer, made it very difficult to watch TV. And then he laid the music right on the coffee table and the guitar right there next to him. He changed his environment. And all of a sudden, the thing that used to be so difficult for him now became easier. I've always wanted to learn the guitar. I finally picked one up, got one actually as a gift. And I literally took right next to my chair and I hung the guitar on the wall next to the chair so that every time I sit down, I'm motivated. And then I convinced my youngest daughter to hang out with me when I play the guitar. And now she's checking in. Hey, Dad, is it guitar time? Hey, Dad, is it guitar time? And so I've changed the environment to push me in a new direction rather than to hold me where I'm at.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. You have so many nuggets. I want to make sure that we can tackle any of the things that you feel like we really want to bless our audience with today. So Jason, is there anything else that we haven't had a chance to touch on that you would really love to tackle today?
There's one quote that I was at an event over a year ago
Uh-huh.
and I saw this quote and it hit me with so much impact that I stuck it on my wall and it's literally the biggest, boldest thing on my wall. And every time I'm in my office, like right now, I'm seeing that quote. And it came from Trent Shelton. He said, "If God led me to it, God will lead me through it."
Mm,
And that's the big thing that I think so many people miss out on. Life is meant to be this journey of self-improvement, self-discovery, which means if we're improving, we can't be perfect. It's by design. You can't be perfect. So be okay with your imperfection. People are so concerned that they're not perfect. Like yeah, you're not perfect. You're not supposed to be, but you're supposed to be moving in an upward direction towards perfection.
right.
And yet people miss out on that concept. And so they beat themselves up. Oh, I messed up that sales call. Oh, I didn't say that right. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. No, you had a moment. That's not who you are. That's not the right label to put on you. It was a moment of what you acted like, but you're still on this journey of improvement, which means you're not that thing anymore because you recognize the imperfection and you started adjusting to it. So being okay with this idea that God's going to lead you to problems, it's going to happen. Everybody has them. That's the way the world's built. But the whole purpose of these problems is they came to pass. The problems showed up, you made it through, and now you're on to your next journey.
100%. And as I see this over and over again in the entrepreneurial journey, that we're literally spiraling up, which means that we're going in this funnel upwards, right? Which means that we're going to circle past old belief systems, old fears, old things that have held us back in the past. But what's going to be different about it, friends, is that we're going to recognize it faster. You're going to shift faster. So just because you felt like you've dealt with this before doesn't mean that it might not rear its head in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's literally just like, oh, look at that. I saw that so much faster this time. And ooh, look at all these tools that I acquired from last time that I was able to use and shift it faster. And I think that if we can recognize that this is a journey and that as we continue to level up and spiral up, we're going to continue to prove to ourselves more and more what we're capable of. And knowing that perfection is never the object, it's the evolution of it, of just growing, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's such a good mindset. The evolution of growing
Yeah.
is our objective.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get to perfection,
Yeah.
but let's not focus on that.
Yeah.
Let's focus on being a little bit better.
Yeah. And what I found is that when we can shift our way of being, when we can really start to show up in a way that allows for our worthiness and our confidence and our calmness and our peace and our fun and our joy to be the dominant part of who we be, the success of our business and the relationships with our families and all the other things get to be bonus side effects of who we get to be. And so the more that you try to force strategies and force things that create in you the frustrations and the unworthiness and the doubt, you're making yourself miserable. Meanwhile, if you can focus on who you be, the rest of the stuff is going to fall into place.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a reverse funnel.
Mhm.
Where we're spiraling upward, but the more we spiral, the
Yeah.
bigger that funnel gets, and that funnel is the freedom and the happiness and the joy and the
Yes.
opportunities. They get bigger and bigger the more we improve who we become on
Yes.
that journey.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed my conversation with Jason as much as I did. And is there anything that you want us to know about? We have all of the information that you provided in the show notes for everybody to know how to find you. But if there's anything else that you wanted to show or at least share, I guess, in this time, by all means, please do.
Hey, if it's all right, I would love for people to join me on my podcast. I'd love to have you as a guest at some point as well on
Would
my
love that.
podcast.
Yeah.
We do 5 days a week. We do episodes, and
Uh-huh.
it's just to get the brain to think a little bit differently. And then
Yes.
I bring on inspiring guests like you that we can take the time to tell a story and enjoy that journey and really give people a chance to connect as well. So that's called Small
Uh,
Business Big Visibility, and it's available everywhere.
Yay. You guys make sure that you check out his podcast. Jason, thank you so much for blessing all of us today. I'm so grateful that you had that experience where you couldn't take vacation. So now you can allow for the rest of us to learn from that wisdom. So thank you so much. And you guys, I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody. So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.